Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. It is my great pleasure to welcome back a repeat guest, Shelly Lefkoe from the Lefkoe Institute. Shelly has helped thousands of clients worldwide recreate their lives by ridding themselves of a wide variety of problems, including phobias, relationships that never seem to work, violence, procrastination, unwillingness to confront people, health and wellness issues, many other things. Her clients have eliminated emotional patterns such as fear, hostility, shyness, anxiety, depression, worry about what people think of them, and a whole lot of other things. She's a best-selling author, and I am super excited to talk about her latest book, Hitting the Wall: How to Eliminate the Beliefs That Sabotage Your Business and Your Life, written for entrepreneurs like all of our listeners. Shelly, thank you so much for coming back.
Oh, I love being on your podcast.
Well,
thank you for having me.
You are welcome. It is our pleasure. We greatly appreciate you coming back and the new book. You already had bestsellers. What inspired you to write this one?
Someone heard me speak at an event, and he's a serial entrepreneur. And he came over to me and he said, "That's the missing piece. That's why my clients," bless you, "that's why my clients don't listen to me. I tell them what to do. They say, 'Oh my God, that's a great idea.' And then they don't do it." He said, "We should write a book." And I said, "I don't know. I'm a little busy." And he said, "Let's do it." I said, "Okay." So we wrote a book, and it was fun.
Well, congratulations on the book. And we'll make sure to tell everyone where they can go get it in just a little bit. Let's dive in. This might seem like a ridiculous question. How do we know as an entrepreneur if we've got beliefs that are sabotaging our business and our life?
Great question. Something is not working. So if people are telling you that you're being a way that doesn't work, and you find yourself being defensive, or you keep doing things and nothing works out, or you're an autocratic manager and people are not responding well to it, you're losing people, you're not maintaining, you're not making mistakes, you're not failing, you're not taking risks. So if you know that something is not working, and it just doesn't even have to be about your business, it could be about your life. You can be an entrepreneur who works 24/7. I was listening to Tom Bilyeu speak the other day, and he said, "You have to be willing to work while everybody's sleeping. And, you have to be willing to," and I'm sitting there going, "I don't, I play pickleball and I run a business and I'm successful. And, it's not $1 billion business, but I don't need to have $1 billion business. I just want to make a difference in people's lives. And I do that." So our beliefs drive us. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're working all the time and your relationship with your wife is suffering, one of the things that always inspires me about you, Seth, is your relationship with your wife, your children. You care about them, you're involved in their lives. So that is an area that's working. That's a plant that's watered, right? If you're not watering, if you're watering your business plant all the time and you're working yourself to death, your body plant is going to suffer. You're not going to be eating healthy, exercising, taking care of yourself. So our beliefs, most of which are unconscious, determine how we live our lives. And how if you have beliefs in the way is something's not working.
I love the plant example. As entrepreneurs, I know you know this, you hear it all the time, but we feel like there's a lot of plants, right? They all need to be watering all at the same time. How do we pull that off? I don't know. Balance is the right word, juggle is the right word, but how do we water all of those ridiculous number of plants at the same time?
Yeah. I'm here in New York for an event, which is why my lighting and background is not what it usually is. And I'm staying I'm here with my friend Marcy Shimoff. So Marcy has a program called the Year of Miracles. And what she does is for 3 months of her life, she does a launch to promote and fill this program. And she works very, very hard. And at the end of the launch, she goes to Hawaii. And so you can either look at I Do It, where my mornings are exercise and meditation. I work all day and then I go play pickleball or see friends after work. So whatever I didn't get done today will get done tomorrow. Now, if I have a project I'm working on, that might be different. So the balance comes from being able to delegate, being able to not feel like everything has to be done today and it has to be done now and it has to be done perfectly. Because when you leave, everybody says it's so trite, but nobody has ever been heard to say on their deathbed, I wish I had worked more.
Absolutely. So I love your example. So let's say we've gotten past denial, right? We realize there's something that's not working. How do you uncover what the actual subconscious beliefs are that are causing us to sabotage or create something in our life that isn't working?
Yeah. So there's we teach a course on how to do this, but I'll give you as much as I can in the short time we have together. If you keep meeting people, you keep hiring people that end up not being trustworthy, and you say to yourself, gosh, I wonder what I believe that would have me hiring people, and they turn out to be not trustworthy, or they screw me over, or they don't do what they say they're going to do. And ask yourself and say, what does the little voice say when people do that to me? See, people can't be trusted. So it's really very logical. I wonder what I believe that has me working constantly like a hamster on a wheel. Well, I guess you have to work hard to be successful. And, these beliefs get generally formed when we're young. And, the world is a very different place today, and it's changing all the time. And things that might have been true in the past are not true anymore. But our beliefs they stay with us and they have such a powerful hold over us, because when we form them, we actually think we saw our beliefs in the world. So one of the most common beliefs that people have, Seth, is I'm not good enough. And so first thing is I have people say it out loud, and they say, I'm not good enough. And I say, how does that feel? And they go, yeah, it doesn't feel good. Now, I'm not good enough is just words, right? But it doesn't feel good because you believe it. I'm not important. So if you have the belief, I'm not important, you're not going to speak up at meetings. You're going to think, what other people have to say is more important than what you have to say. So these are the beliefs that keep us stuck, that hold us down. And when you're little, if you see your parents work hard and complain about money and they can't pay the bills, it feels as if you're seeing life is hard. Money is scarce and hard to get, like you could point to it. And in the book, we talk about the most common beliefs that entrepreneurs have and the most common patterns. So the difference between a pattern, which most people don't know, a pattern and a belief. A pattern is observable. A pattern is what you want to change, right? So I can see you procrastinating. I can see you have a fear of public speaking. You're standing up there and I can see you're nervous and I can hear your mouth is dry. So I can see that, right? I can see you getting into crappy relationships, and there's fighting and arguing and It doesn't look like there's a spark and joy. So a pattern is what you want to change. And with entrepreneurs, the most common patterns that keep people stuck is fear of failure. You can't be a successful entrepreneur if you're afraid to fail, right? And even though, Seth, and this is so amazing, that's why my book is so great, because you could read all the books about business and they will all tell you, you have to fail, you have to make mistakes. And if you have the belief mistakes and failures are bad, you will not do it. No matter, I had a client who said, my boss is ready to fire me. He said, if you don't start failing and making more mistakes, I'm going to fire you. And he says, I keep trying. He says, I know Richard Branson, because I always tell him, Richard Branson says, if you're not failing, you're going to be mediocre, because if you're not failing, you're doing the same thing you did yesterday, and you're never going to be a successful entrepreneur doing the same thing you did yesterday. You have to innovate, right? So those beliefs come from when you're a kid. Every time you make a mistake, you get yelled at. And, your parents either withdraw or get angry or you get spanked or punished. So you say, and then you go to school and in traditional education, you get those big red X's, and failing is, oh God, I failed Spanish, and it's a terrible thing. So people grow up with the belief mistakes and failures are bad, or if you don't do well in school and your parents are upset and you conclude, I'm not smart. And even though you're plowing ahead and you started your business and you took the risk, one of the most common beliefs, which ran my life, what makes me good enough is having other people think well of me.
Wow.
And if you have that belief, you're not going to do the social media videos that you need to do, because you're going to be worried, what's this one going to think? And what's that one going to think? And that's what fear of public speaking is. It's just worrying about what other people think. And when I had that belief, it ran my life. And when I got rid of it, I became my authentic self, and it was that's what I want for everybody, to be able to be your authentic self, to play life like a game, right? Your business is a game. That's all it is. And you're going to have days where you pass go and collect $200 and days where you get, assessed or put in jail or whatever, else happens on the monopoly board called life.
That is beautiful. So I love it. So we've figured out there's something that's not working. We've done the work. We figured out what our unconscious limiting beliefs that are sabotaging ourselves are. How do we get rid of them? How do we Lefkoeize them?
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a link. Well, first of all, it is in the book. And
Yes.
I'm going to give you a link to eliminate a belief for free. It's eliminatebeliefs.com. And what we do is we take you through a process where you look at what your pattern is, what beliefs underlie the pattern, and then you go through a step-by-step process where you actually go back to where the belief was formed and look at what other, so I'll give you an example. Let's assume as a child, you were criticized a lot and you concluded, I'm not good enough. And so you go back and you look at what are some other interpretations, some other possible ways to look at what happened, right? So my father was very critical. It's not that I'm not good enough. It's I was in a school system where I was a visual learner, not an auditory learner, like in my case. The fact that my father criticized me could mean he thought I was so smart and he expected more from me. So we look at alternative interpretations. And then we look at if there are other valid interpretations that would explain what happened as a child. Is what you said the truth or just one interpretation? So it's just one interpretation. And then the big step is, doesn't it seem like you saw, I'm not good enough, or life is hard, or money is scarce and hard to get? And I have clients in every country around the world, Uganda, Saudi Arabia now. And they say, yes, I did see that. What in anything you can see has a color, shape, and location. You cannot see a belief. So you see your parent criticizing you or failing a class in school. But the only place I'm not good enough existed, or I'm stupid, or I'm not capable was in your mind. You made that up. And when people get it, it's like Santa Claus. I never saw Santa Claus. I made that up. That belief is gone and never comes back. And that's what this does. And then I will give your listeners the best treat. And then we ask, what does it really mean that that happened? So I want to do a little exercise with everybody. If you're in a room and somebody you know comes in and doesn't speak to you, what might you automatically think?
My wife would guess they're mad at me.
They're mad at me. Perfect. They're mad at me. They're rude. They don't like me. I did something wrong. They're distracted. They're shy. Whatever meaning you gave, where did that meaning come from?
I made it up.
Your mind. Exactly. All meaning is inside your mind. So if meaning is in your mind, do events have inherent meaning?
No.
No. So we don't know anything for sure because something happened. Events have no meaning. So what does it mean? And I work with not just entrepreneurs and business, but what does it mean that your business failed? Does it mean you won't, there are lots of people who failed. Tom Bilyeu says, I failed and then I created Quest and I sold it for $1 billion. So, and he's a great example of beliefs. He had a belief that he was a loser. And one day he got up and somehow, not using my process, he said, I'm going to go from being a loser to being a learner. And boom, he created an amazing business. So what does it mean that your business failed? Or what does it mean that that account canceled? It has no meaning. And what does it mean that you were criticized as a child? It has no meaning. I don't know anything for sure about how successful you're going to be because your father criticized you. And once you get that, the events have no meaning, the emotion goes away. And when you're in life, anytime you have a negative emotion, if you stop and ask yourself, what happened? What meaning did I give what happened? What else could it mean? And then just get the event has no meaning. Whatever it is, the emotion will go away. And if you're running your business and you lose a giant account, you go, oh God, we're going to go under. Well, it could mean that. And it could mean there's another account waiting right, behind this one. That's a better account. But the fact that they just canceled has no inherent meaning. And that's a way to get rid of negative emotions in the moment. If you want to get rid of beliefs, then you go through the belief process. Most of the meanings you give events come from your beliefs.
Absolutely incredible, folks. That is just a tiny, tiny snippet of what you'll get in the book and through the Lefkoe method. Shelly, we know your time is incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some of it with us. Where can our listeners and viewers go to get the book, and where can they go to eliminate their first negative belief for free?
Okay. So in order to eliminate a belief, you go to eliminatebeliefs.com. And there's 3 of the most common beliefs people have. And to get the book, of course, you can go to Amazon or your favorite bookstore. And it's called Hitting the Wall, Eliminate the Beliefs That Sabotage Your Business and Your Life.
All right. This has been Seth Greene here with Shelly Lefkoe from the Lefkoe Institute. Again, eliminatebeliefs.com, Hitting the Wall by Shelly Lefkoe. Thank you all for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time. Shelly, thank you again for coming back.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.